The sport of MMA is one of the fastest growing, if not the fastest growing sport in the world right now, at least in the United States as well. And the hobby of card collecting hit a gigantic, pretty much a historical boom last year in 2020, and it's still going strong in 2021, now subsequently into 2022. So, what better way to combine two of the fastest growing things in the world right now? Put them together, because on this edition of Card Stonks, we'll be talking all about UFC cards because it's a recent thing. It's one of the newer cards coming out, and it's already catching a lot of heat. But still, the best thing about it, it's still definitely not too late to get into it. So, of course, we're joined by card expert and a expert within the industry, Ray Rodriguez. Of course, I'm your host, Ross Allen. Ray, how are you feeling about like the whole just before we delve into things into detail, just a whole broad view of how we're feeling about UFC card collecting?
I mean, it's like kind of came out of nowhere, really. I think the biggest thing about it was when there was no sports at all, everyone or a lot of people turned to UFC because it seemed like they were the only promotion that was doing anything.
Shout out Dana White.
Shout out Dana White, dude. Like Fight Island was probably the biggest hype of the sports in like 2020. That was
Well,
crazy.
see, what's funny is at the same time, like, I can talk on MMA. Of course, check out Oliver's MMA stuff. UFC Talk drops every like Wednesday in thefourthlong.com/MMA. But it was there was so much anticipation around Fight Island, and then it was found out that was just like this little kind of offset island in like Abu Dhabi, but it's still a whole freaking island where they built a new arena for them. It's really is something else.
Yeah, it was such a cool thing because MLB would never do that. The NFL would never do that. Like the biggest thing they had was like some international games, but
Hmm.
Fight Island, like it just sounded so cool. Like just reminded me of like the old Mortal Kombat movies or
Yes,
something. Like so cool.
absolutely. But let's get into things because what we got in store for you guys is Ray's going to kind of go over the industry of in kind of the niche of the industry in UFC card collecting, and then we're going to tell you guys three cards that you should definitely be going after because not only are they still cheap, at least relatively as well, depending on their talent. But these guys have a lot of potential, and they could be really good within their divisions. And you know what that means? That card only gets that much more expensive, and your ROI is going to look mighty nice. But Ray, let's talk first things first. How has your experience been in the whole UFC card collecting world? And when do you really see it boom? And how long do you think is this sustainable? First of all, as well.
Um, well, so first of all, I really got started in UFC collecting, just collecting guys like based out of Sacramento, just
Mm-hmm.
because I thought it was cool and like, I had to get the hometown guy. Like
Shout out Team
I got
Alpha
a
Male and
Uriah
Coach Joey
favorite card.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, exactly. But
The
like I
names
have a
are
Uriah
similar
favorite
if
card.
you really want to think about it.
Yeah. Um, and then like I went out a little bit of Sacramento and got a Stockton dude, got Nate Diaz.
Yes.
But then like, you just gotta get guys like that you think are good, or it's pretty easy to know who the goats are in UFC just because it's all pretty recent. Um, but like I think I don't see UFC slowing down at all. Like I don't see that card market going down really ever because UFC is one of the greatest promoters of his sport. Like or Dana White
Yeah.
is one of the greatest promoters of his sport. And he's always doing something like always pretty much ahead of the game. So you'll get promotions everywhere. So I think the card market is really just gonna keep going up and up.
Absolutely. And so, what better way to get into it then? I mean, also you gotta love the local guys. That's always a fun part of collecting. Is there's like two ways and really two things that I mean you and I do personally is you get fighters because you just want that card because it's cool, you know. But then there's
Yeah.
also the cards where this is gonna make me some money, and so we're here for both of that. So do you maybe have a card in mind that is just a cool one to go after, and then we'll get into our actual money makers here in a second.
I mean the card that I really like is the Nate Diaz card I have. It's from 2020 Prism, I think. But in the picture, he's actually hitting Conor McGregor. So it's like
I
it's a
think that
cool
was their
picture.
second fight too, as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it was. But it's just like, it's not like a rookie card or anything, but
Hmm.
Nate Diaz is one of the best characters in the UFC. and like I really wish it was a Stockton slap in the picture, but it's still like him beating up Conor McGregor. Like it's just a well-known rivalry in the sport right now.
Yep. I need a card because when Nate Diaz fought Leon Edwards last, when he hit him with the Stockton slap and had him shook when he's pointing at him, we've all seen that
Yeah,
picture. I need a card of that.
that would be so great.
That would
It's just
be
an iconic picture.
that would be fantastic, dude. I need that. But let's take a look at three of the cards that you need to get your hands on right now. What are we taking a look at first?
First, we're gonna go with Dan Hooker. We've heard his name thrown around a little bit on the UFC show, so you
Hey.
should know about it if you're a OG listener.
Shout UFC Talk. Of course, Dan Hooker right now is he's just a fan favorite as well. So I mean, these fan favorite guys are always going to tie into actual money side of things because more people want obviously the more they're going to pay. Just actual MMA talk right now is of course Dan Hooker. He's on a little bit of he's 1-2 in his last three fights, but now he's going to be dropping down to the featherweight division for the lightweight division, already taking aim at some of the top guys in that division. And there's a really good chance that this guy is going to be just a phenomenal featherweight moving forward. And hell, he's probably going to get into the title picture soon.
Yeah, exactly. And he's only 31 years old. Plenty of time left. Really in his prime of fighting, I think. And I mean, if he has a healthy cut, he could really do some damage. So I think that's a good card to pick up, and especially since he is a fan favorite, his market is just bigger just because more people like him.
What's the cost we're looking like around right now, average?
You can get some of his stuff for like 25 to 40 bucks. So I mean, it's not too bad. And especially like if you have the money to throw away and just forget about it a little bit, wait till his next fight and you could double your money pretty easily.
Probably helps. I think it's safe to assume that when a fighter is in between fights, their card value might decline, but when they get one announced, especially a big one, that the prices might shoot up right at the announcement. Is that correct? Is that something you've seen?
Yeah, exactly. And especially if he's coming off a loss, like his cards usually, their cards will usually tank. So if you really believe in someone and they lose, then you can snatch up their stuff when it's cheap and then just wait for his next fight to come up and hope he can have a bounce back fight.
Absolutely. Card number two. What you got for us?
We're gonna go with Jamal Hill.
This
Kind of
dude, if you guys don't know about him, of course, a little bit of background before we delve into the card. He is a light heavyweight fighter, and he's coming off a hell of a knockout. This guy is a freaking beast. I mean, one of the first impressions I made on the MMA world was when he knocked out OSP. I know it's a OSP that's old past prime, but Jamal Hill, he's a big light heavyweight. He hits like a truck, and his hand speed is almost unmatched in that division. Right now, he was unranked going into the year, and now he's at number 10 in the light heavyweight rankings. And the sky is the limit for him right now, especially in a bit of a weaker light heavyweight division. Their top 10 is not as stacked as a lot of the other divisions, so this guy could rise in an instant. Tell us more about the card.
Yeah, so I mean, he's kind of, I mean, until not that long ago, I didn't really know who he was, but people like big guys, like watching big guys fight. It's just, like, I mean, I don't know, a fan favorite anymore, but John Jones is a big dude, and like, it's just watching these athletes fight, these giant guys.
Come on,
It's
Francis Ngannou, the guy that can take a dude's
yeah,
head off.
exactly. It's entertaining. These guys are huge. It's just crazy watching the power come out of these guys. So like, Jamal Hill is another good candidate, and he's not as expensive as John Jones or Francis Ngannou right now. And if he keeps fighting and climbing the rankings, his stuff's only going to go up. And he's only 30 years old, which again, like the younger the better. So he has another few years where he can really dominate and make you guys some money.
Do you see a little bit of a price point right now?
I think his stuff was around the same as Dan Hooker. It might be
Mm-hmm.
even a little bit cheaper, just because I don't think he's as much of a fan favorite yet as Dan Hooker. So I think you guys can pick his stuff up pretty cheaply. Um, I would go more after cards that aren't just the regular base set cards, like maybe something that's a different color or something that's numbered. Just the more rare it is, the more money you guys can make in the end.
That's such a funny thing about cards is that honestly the price can go up just because if it's shinier.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Shinier the better, really.
It's a hell of a hobby. Hey, why is
Yeah.
this so much more expensive? Oh, it's shiny.
Yeah.
Hey, but to be fair, shinier does look better. I'm just saying, man. It
That is true. Yeah, you're not wrong.
it works out. And then drop the last card for us. What we got here?
Well, I've been talking about this guy for a while now. He's a product of Team Alpha Male. We got Song Yadong,
Hell
and
yeah.
this guy's a beast.
Song Yadong is currently one. He is one of the youngest fighters in the promotion right now, and recently he just broke into the top 15 of the bantamweight division. Right now, he's sitting at number 14. This guy hits like a freaking freight train, even since he's only 135 pounds. He is a specimen, and there's a lot of guys that are talking about just how good he's going to be. Right now, he is 3-1 in his last 4 fights on a 2-fight winning streak. His most recent fight came at that Holloway versus Rodriguez card back in November, and that was a head kick TKO, a beautiful thing in the second round. This guy's looking good, and he's one of the hottest prospects in that bantamweight division, probably only second to Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, he's been incredible, and like for me, just because Coach Joey, he
Shout out Coach Joey.
shout out Coach Joey. But like it's crazy seeing these guys on like Joey's Instagram and watching them work. And it seems like every single day Song Yudong is putting in work. So like, usually hard work pays off more often than not. So I think he's gonna be huge. And he's only 24 years old. Like he has so much time left, like so much time to even get better and better before he really hits his prime. I think his stuff's gonna go crazy pretty soon here.
Do we got initial price point what we might be looking at right now?
I think for him, you can get like some pretty high end stuff on his stuff for like $50. But honestly,
Pretty good.
if you want to go lower and spend like $20 on his stuff, I don't think that's a bad idea either. Um, but like I'm actually watching some stuff right now on eBay. It's like a 3 card lot for $50. So you know what I mean? Like that's not bad at all.
No. That's a really good thing to get into. And if you just had to take guess, of course, because we're predicting these, you can go to like the actual stock experts. Those guys are just taking estimated guesses. In the span of just through the end of 2020, let's look short term. Where do you see this card ending up, press wise?
The end of what,
End of
2022?
2022.
So 1 year from now, I'd say like as long as he's on the trajectory that he's at right now, I'm gonna say probably at least like 3x what his prices are right now.
3 times?
I think
So what
like
I'm
that's
hearing is
pretty
that
conservative.
you have to get your hands on this card right now.
I think so. And even if you look further than 2022, let's say the end of 2023 or 2024, well, he's only going to be, 28 years old or what, 26, 27 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's still going to be super young in the UFC. So I think honestly, it's just going to keep going up. I'd say like you should look further than like for around 5 or 6 year area just because his stuff's going to go crazy.
Well, you've heard it here, folks. You need to absolutely get your hands on some Sung Yadong cards, as well as a little bit of Dan Hooker in there as well. And watch out for Jamal Hill. But Ray, we've reached that point of the show. We're going to cap things off. And how else do we cap things off? Of course, on the normal shows, we cap off with the Nene of the Week. But on these shows, we cap it off with a little bit of a Flex It Friday. And so, what we got to flex?
I picked this up actually in a couple packs that I bought from the local
Ooh.
card store, and I got pretty lucky. Got a Alex Kirillov rookie autograph.
And
If you
to
guys
my
remember
point,
what
it's
that
shiny.
is, it's shiny. Exactly. Got a little rainbow in there. But this guy is a really good outfielder for the Twins right now. The Twins are pretty relevant, so I'm looking forward to holding on to that. So let's say he makes the All Star game next year, I can sell that for a decent chunk, and got it for pretty cheap. So I'm pretty happy with it.
And you got a card like that, especially just from a card pack as well. That's
Yeah,
some good luck
exactly.
you got running on right now.
Yeah, I didn't have to spend money on a whole box. Got a few packs, and just got lucky, which is the gambling part of the hobby, and it's super fun.
And unfortunately, that's also one of the most addicting parts of the hobby.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Uh, uh, What do we have to do the commercials? Well, gamble responsibly. I don't know.
I know, call 1-800 gambling or something.
I think it's 1-800 gambler.
Yeah.
Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't know what you guys doing. Go fix it.
Yeah, do
Fourth
something.
Log is not liable for your mistakes.
There we go. We're clear.
We'll have to put that in. Wait, can we do like little? Do we have to do the little fast words at the end? Fourth Log
Oh
is
yeah,
not
the
responsible for
super
your
fast
mistakes.
speech. Yeah, the disclaimer at the end.
Oh
Definitely.
boy. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for the third edition of Card Songs. Of course, if you missed the previous two, the first one we talked about was some MLB and NFL action in that one. The second one was a really good guide from Ray here of what the market's like, how to get into it, how to hang with it, and also how successful you can be from the market depending on what you hit. Of course, this one we covered. We finally got into some MMA stuff, so stick around. Of course, Card Songs comes out every other Friday. You know, 99% of the time we'll keep it at that one. And it's always a really good one. Of course, if you are a beginner, please let us know. We can reach out to Ray. Of course, you can hit him up on Instagram at
Card.collector.3.
absolutely. So he'll
There we
be
go.
there for your advice. Of course, we have at Fourth and Long Cards on Instagram as well. So make sure to go check that stuff out. But ladies and gentlemen, find all of our stuff at thefourthlong.com. Ray, always a pleasure. Thank you for shedding some light on this part of the card collecting industry. And we'll see all of you guys either in the next show or I'll make that joke, Ray. See you next year.
Oh God.
I hate myself.
Cringe. Cringe.